Jon Hamm, from Mad Men, is the voice actor for this new animated series, Grimsburg. Only the pilot has been released so far, but I was curious about everyone's thoughts on the show. I was admittedly a little worried getting my hopes up. I'm a huge fan of adult animation. I'm talking American Dad, Paradise PD, BoJack Horseman, Forget About It, Brickleberry, The Cleveland Show, and Family Guy, just to name a few. But it's not difficult to recognize when a comedy, especially an animated cartoon, is making an excessive amount of effort. It basically throws jokes at its audience without giving them a chance to breathe, and the jokes that are thrown usually give the impression that they were not thought out. But I was intrigued and wanted to check it out after seeing a meme that made the cast seem like characters from the video game Disco Elysium. So, Jon Hamm is the executive producer of Grimsburg. It's centered around the life of Detective Marvin Flute as he returns to the town of Grimsburg in the hopes of redeeming himself with his ex-wife and son. Flute is described as the greatest detective ever to catch a cannibal clown and correctly identify a mid-century modern armoire. But there's one mystery he still can't crack himself. To do that, he must return to Grimsburg, a town where everyone has a secret or three, and redeem himself in the eyes of his fellow detectives, his ferocious ex-wife and his lovably but unstable son. The first episode aired on January 7th. This is a rundown on the episodes, so if you do not want any spoilers, this is another warning to click off of this video. An owl is seen sitting atop a car in the initial scene, which also features two teenagers making out with one another. During the time that the girl is telling the guy in the car that he is an excellent kisser, the guy says that he has been practicing. The girl is the one who then detects the presence of someone outside, while the guy does not, so he does not notice the approaching danger. Even after his head has been removed by a chainsaw, he continues to, in the meantime, grumble about her resistance to his attempts. Meet Marvin Flute, a former detective in the Grimsburg PD. These days, he finds himself residing in a less-than-ideal hotel, sporting a rather unconventional choice of underwear, a ducky inner tube. In a moment of frustration, he takes out his anger on his own reflection in the mirror. That's how his former boss, Lieutenant Jon Hamm, tracks him down. He's the only one with the skills to crack this case. Flute is given a temporary badge so that he can return to Grimsburg, a town that proudly displays its cursed status on its welcome signs, in order to conduct an investigation. At the scene, he encounters his new partner, Detective Greg Summers, who is mostly cyborg. Imagining himself as a witness to the crime, he speculates that the girl, who happens to be the mayor's daughter, has been kidnapped and may still be alive. Marvin is quite impressed with the penmanship when he stumbles upon a chilling discovery: a head encased in a block of ice, accompanied by a note signed by none other than the killer, which mentions a girl. While in Grimsburg, Flute finds himself confronted by his ex-wife, Harmony Flute, a local TV news reporter. He is still in love with Harmony, who, I should add, was raised by bears and has adopted their eating habits. Flute is determined to reunite his family. One challenge he faces is the need to be there for his son Stan, played by Rachel Dratch. He agrees to attend the father-son dance at Stan's school, while Stan insists that he no longer sees the haunting image of a fire-filled skeleton named Mr. Flesh, played by Alan Tudyk, even though he still does. Again, his son is unstable. When the medical examiner discovers an unexpected item in the murder victim's body, Flute seeks advice from his music teacher mentor, Dr. Rufus Pentos, played by Tudyk. Surprisingly, Dr. Pentos continues to teach music despite being imprisoned for a gruesome crime. According to Dr. Pentos, parents have a way of overshadowing everything, leaving Flute feeling perplexed. Summers uncovers compelling evidence that implicates police chief Patsy Stamos, a staunch believer in flat earth theory and strongly aligned with certain political views. However, she also grapples with personal challenges related to her relationship with her son. I really enjoyed it. The visuals and artwork was really nice, and there were also several amusing jokes in it. The voice acting was also really good. They got me with the opening apartment scene and the woman raised by bears. The finale was satisfying, and the final discussion makes me believe Mr. Flesh will be a terrific character later on, if developed properly. I think same goes for the teacher. All good potential characters. I believe he will be excellent, especially if they keep him surprising by not having him play the same role in every episode and allowing him to interact with the other characters. It will be the best route for him. Overall, I like all of the characters and their personalities, which overshadowed some of the cliches for me, in a very innovative way. I believe it has a lot of promise. To be honest, I was worried that this program would turn into a generic animated sitcom, but it actually has some decent humor. It felt like it was marketing all of the characters as the wacky one. Apart from the son and the music teacher, I couldn't get a feel for the majority of the side characters. Everyone just kept throwing out comments. But this is only the pilot. I'm sure they'll be developed in future episodes. I believe that the primary issue for this show is going to be the characters' lack of development. I also like how the pieces of the case were connected, though I would like to see the true premise of the show more than the cases in future episodes. It would be considerably more interesting to have Marvin discover more about himself than just being an adult/teen version of Scooby-Doo. I liked Alan Tudyk's performance as the teacher, probably the character that had me smiling the most. His criminal mind makes a lot of sense now that I gave it another watch, and it really did help Marvin solve the case. There is still more to the episode, so, if you want to check it out, I think even after the spoilers, it's still an enjoyable watch. There is so much going on, so many visual gags, puns, obscure pop cultural citations and pure weirdness for weirdness' sake, that a viewer might not absorb it all and might have to watch it twice anyways. This show feels like a good turn-off brain show. I think having both innocent humor mixed with the shock humor being in the same show is fresh. Overall, it seems like it could be an interesting new series to me. It seems to have a 50-50 review. Some people like it, but some says it's horrible, but salvageable. I'm actually pretty excited for the next episode. Some of the jokes are interesting, but I think it has good potential. If you would like to watch the first episode, it exclusively airs on the Fox network during their Sunday primetime programming slot. You can also watch the episodes later on the Fox website. Episode 2 comes out February 18th, and the show was renewed for Season 2, so I think they have a lot more in store. But comment down below if you've seen it. What are your thoughts on this first episode? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and while you're there, turn on post notifications by clicking the bell icon, so you won't miss when I post another video. Thanks for watching.